All right, it is the second half of the show, The Brief, right here on Groove 98.1 FM, Owerri. So, yesterday the news dropped a split decision of 2-1. The Court of Appeal in Abuja affirmed the judgment restraining INEC from recognizing or participating in any state congresses organized by the committees appointed by David Mark-led caretaker leadership of the African Democratic Congress, and that has generated a lot of reactions. The lead verdict delivered by Justice Okon Abang, a three-member panel of justices, said it found no reason to set aside the restraining order of the Federal High Court in Abuja and issued against Mark-led ADC on April 29, and it further upheld the order of the trial judge, Justice Abdulmalik Joyce, which restrained the Mark-led executives from interfering with the tenure and functions of the party's elected state executives. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the conversation we're having right now on Radio on Groove 98.1 FM, Owerri. Yes, indeed, and taking a look at this together on the show, we are joined this morning by the spokesperson for the NEC Chairman Forum in ADC, Mr. Norman Obinna joins us virtually, I believe from Abuja this morning, as we unpack this latest development in ADC. Glad to have you join us, and good morning to you.
Tony, it's my pleasure. Good morning.
All right, and I will be doing this with my colleague Angela. Angela is in the studio with us this morning.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. Welcome to the show. Welcome.
All right, let's delve into the conversation. What we'll be asking, what led to this problem that we are right now, that we are in? Because men will be asking, what is the interest of this chairman since David Mark took over the affairs of the party? You guys have said no. So is it that you don't want a strong presidential candidate in the person of Atiku Abubakar, or it goes beyond that? Can you please tell us how we got to this point?
Yes, Tony. Thank you for asking that question. Well, I want to tell you that there's no sane man that wouldn't want a strong presidential candidate, because it is the hope of every political party to not just participate in an election, but to win that election, because win that election means a lot of goodies for the political party. Now, in the case of the ADC, of course, you know how we celebrated the coalition. It was something that Nigerians, expected, anticipated, and when it finally came, everybody, all the old ADC chairmen, embraced it with happiness. Only I can tell you authoritatively here that there was no time from the beginning of this coalition that any ADC chairman planned to sabotage the coalition. Forget about what you heard, that we are being sponsored by external forces. It is not true. Now that we have been made the opportunity to speak, I'm speaking from Abuja because we are staying in Abuja. We want to get the CTC of that judgment. I would have loved to come to your station, but it's all the same. Now, let me tell you the truth of the matter. When the coalition was formed, I want to say regrettably that no ADC NEC member, because as a chairman, a state chairman of ADC, Abia State, I'm also a member of the ADC National Executive Committee. We did not know how this coalition was formed, the terms and conditions, the agreement reached, or whatever. But because we want this country to work, because we want democracy to survive in Nigeria, we embrace them. We affirm them. It is whether you like it or not, no matter the decision taken by the party, the NEC of the party is the highest decision-making organ of that party. So the NEC, which I belong to, is the highest decision-making of that of ADC. We ratify them without asking these vital questions that will rather make or mar us, because we believe that no matter what, we will be able to settle our matter amicably internally as family. But we are wrong. So just a week after the coalition, the problem started in Abia State, which I believe you followed while you were staying by FM. This problem started. They started saying that the Norman is not ADC chairman, to the point that one of the coalition partners in Abaribe went to his event center and announced my suspension. A man who was not even a member of ADC at that time, he was still with the ABDA. The man announced my suspension as ADC chairman, and so single-handedly appointed an acting chairman. David Mark-led National Working Committee of the ADC said nothing about it. And that case was not only peculiar in Abia State, it started happening all over the state. I fought back because, of course, I know it will never happen. And we want the United to desist from such acts. That the only reason we did not suspend him is because he was here to join ADC at that time. So this problem started, and we started calling. At one point, we held a meeting. The first person we held a meeting over this ADC crisis was Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. I want to say it on air. We, contracted a meeting with Alhaji Abubakar, and we went to his house. We flew from our different states, and we went to see him. Let me even quickly tell you that during that meeting, Atiku Abubakar did not give us a damn. We did not ask for even refund of our flight tickets, hotel bills. I spent close to $1 million or even more than $1 million each time I traveled to Abuja to spend at least a week or 6 days. After the meeting, Atiku Abubakar told us that yes, that they knew that the plan they had with us, or their meeting they had with us, that led to this coalition, that it was agreed that all ADC members, old members will go, all executive will go. We said, wow, did you buy the party from him? How can you have such a meeting with an individual without carrying the party along? I said, well, it is impossible because we have a running tenure. I on tenure CDC chairman, so list.
Just a moment, please permit me to cut in. I don't want to. We will go back to your line of thoughts. This meeting that the state chairman had with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, was it after he became presidential candidate or before he became presidential candidate?
Before he became presidential candidate. Before then, because he was one that donated the ADC office that we're using in Abuja, the headquarters of ADC, 122 and Ademola Adetokunbo at Use2. He donated it. So we saw him as a very biggest, highest figure in that political party. So we now raised the second issue as, sir, we also noticed that you people have gone behind us and contrary to ADC constitution to open back accounts in different states. Whereas ADC constitution stipulates that it's only the state chairman, the secretary, and what do you call them again? I remember that has the treasurer. That will have access to accounts of the party. We now said that we noticed that you people went behind us to open this account. I think Abubakar, to our surprise, said that yes, that they know about it. That the reason they did that was to recoup the money they spent. Only as I speak to you, this is on air. So I'm not alleging. I was in a part of that meeting. I think you saw the picture. Now, I was one that asked. I said, sir, which money are you planning to recoup? Did you people give us money? Because as I speak to you today, ADC coalition has never given me, as I speak to you, a dime to run the political party. And no state chairman received a dime from these people to run the party. Whatever activity you see ongoing in the state, it was funded by the state chairman. Now we now say, okay, this thing will lead to crisis. This thing will lead to crisis. We want to go into this election with as one family. Do something. Atiku said he's going to do something about it. Then when we left Atiku the other week, because we were troubled, we sent a letter to Rotimi and Amaechi demanding a meeting. We went to Abuja again to see Rotimi and Amaechi, and we tabled this thing before Rotimi and Amaechi. The same thing. Rotimi and Amaechi told us the same thing. That yes, the plan they had, maybe our former national chairman didn't tell us, that the plan they had was to take over ADC completely. We said, okay, this will lead to crisis.
But just a moment, please. We will go back to your line of thoughts because a lot of questions are just popping up in my mind. I want to understand all these decisions taken by Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, as you mentioned, and also Rotimi Amaechi, former governor of Rivers State. Is it a decision that they should take when they are other presidential hopefuls as of that time, aspirants? Peter Obi was also there. These are stakeholders in the party that would have... Yes, go ahead, please. We also after meeting Amaechi, nothing came out.
We also wrote to Peter Obi, His Excellency Peter Obi, and Peter Obi gave us appointment. All of us assembled in Abuja at his office in this place, Life Camp. That day it was a thorough meeting. I think most of his aides were also there, and we discussed this matter. We told him, I was one that raised this issue. I spoke on behalf of all the ADC chairmen. He told us point blank, Peter Obi couldn't lie again. He said, well, that he's aware of, he was aware of this matter. That as he speak to me, that he knows all of us have done our best. That the pioneer or the foreigners of a particular program sometimes do not enjoy from that thing. That it is the people, their successors, who benefit. That they have decided what they want to do. That what he wants to assure us. I want you to quote me. That what he wants to assure us is that they know our names. They know all of us. That when he becomes president eventually, that he will write our names and some of us will become PA, some of us will become... That is the truth. And we laughed. I jokingly said that we have become Peters, whose rewards are in heaven. We told him, he said that as we speak, that he has even told him that Anambra chairman will not be his chairman. I told him again, I said, sir, this will lead to crisis. We have a running tenure. Only what happened was this. They knew that we had a running tenure. And what they simply waited for our tenure to elapse so that they will now replace us with the people they had in mind. So why they were planning how to remove all the whole ADC chairman? Why they were planning to do that? And a timetable came. So that and a timetable circumscribed them. They couldn't be able to execute their plans again because of time factor. So what they did, they quickly announced date for congresses and announced date for convention, even when we have a running tenure. We called the meeting, told David that this thing cannot happen. This is an ADC constitution. You don't even have power to set up a committee to oversee congresses of the local government, ward and state. They ignored us and we are printed form. Only the ADC constitution allows me to contest for that tenure. What they did was, when they were applying their convention, their primary and their congresses, they printed just only one form for a chairman. So when it became clear to them that even if they conduct this congress, I just said that I will win because of my popularity. They now say that they have zoned my destiny at the chairmanship of Adia State ADC from Adia Central, where I come from, to Adia North. Who does that? You don't change goalposts at the middle of the match. We said, okay, before we knew, they printed only one card, only one form for the chairman because they know who they want to do, give it to. And we said, you cannot do this Congress because the reason you cannot do this Congress is we have a running tenure. If there must be Congress, then affirm the people who you may be so that we can go to election. They insisted that the Congress must go on. Now, that was why I was the one that instituted that case against them with other fellow chairmen, but I was the lead deponent for that matter. So I went to court to challenge that decision because we have ADC constitution. Everything they did was against the ADC constitution, even the registration of members. They formed what we call MR to register members, whereas the ADC constitution stipulates that the registration of new members and the validation of members is the sole responsibility of the award chairman. We thought that this thing will lead to crisis because even eventually if we win the election, that our opponents will go to court to take it because our membership registration was faulty. So to tell the party, we went to court believing that by the time, because we know, we were assumed from the beginning that we will get justice. We went to court to still get it. Instead of them to listen to us, they went ahead with the Congress plan. Now the Federal High Court Abuja, presided over by Justice Joyce Abdul Malik, granted us an injunction stopping the Congress and convention pending the determination of that court, the outcome of the matter. They went ahead, disobeyed the court and conducted the state congresses. Then, or at the same time, they conducted the convention. A week later, they conducted the convention. Then, a few days later, the judgment came, and Justice Abdul Malik nullified everything that they did. Nullified it, and even banned from recognizing David Mark events or from posing whatever events organized by David Mark, whether anything that INEC should not recognize them. At that point, the chairman were actually waiting for them to say, okay, we have replaced ourselves. What do we do now? Instead of them to contract a meeting between the National Committee and the NEC ADC, they didn't call us for a meeting. They call us bluff. And some even chairman, we don't even shock you. We now sent some ADC chairman. In fact, I want to mention them of those ADC chairmen. We sent Akwa Ibom state chairman. We sent FCT state chairman and all other chairman I cannot remember now. Instead of them to Amaechi, just so that we will find solution to this problem. Because at that time we know that this will escalate. We were ready to have a discussion that time. Amaechi called them bluff. Amaechi said, we are going to defeat people. You think you can take us to court? We are going to defeat people. And at that time, do you think? I don't think that any ADC chairman that can afford 10 million. Only can you imagine? So when they came back, they went to that convention. Instead of finding a solution, they expelled me. You heard it on the news. They expelled me and expelled the 8 of us who went to court. They expelled all of us on the party. In the Akangalu convention, that was what the court nullified. So while we were waiting for this reconciliation, they appealed the matter. They appealed. So we said, wow, when we do not have time, when we are preparing to go for election, and you are appealing this matter, they appealed the matter. Now that was the outcome of what you saw yesterday. The appeal court judge upheld that decision of the lower court.
Okay.
They upheld it.
Okay.
That is interesting, the whole matter.
Okay.
Instead of these people to come out to tell Nigerians and seek ways to settle this matter with the state chairman, they were publishing propaganda. They were saying that we are being sponsored by Bola Tinubu. The APC government is not to scuttle this. It is not true. Now the question is this: I am not the only chairman of the ADC. We have 37 chairman of the ADC, including the state Abuja, to make it 37. Now the question is this: Atiku has his own people. I don't know what state chairman. Atiku has his own people from the north. Well, it's easy for the federal government to bribe all of us at the same time to work against the political party.
Okay. Well, okay.
Of the appeal court yesterday, therefore there was in the center.
Okay, we want to because of our time, so that we can touch all the issues on ground. We want to understand your own interpretation, because we've seen several interpretations of this appeal court ruling. Some members of the other side, the David Mark-led ADC, are saying that it doesn't affect the already
aspirants or rather candidates.
It does not affect their candidates. That Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is still the presidential candidate. That the only problem they have is the Congress that they had, and it is just about the state chairman, that they can also move on. And I also want to understand, because as of this morning, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, there was a story published by Punch that INEC recognizes Atiku and 470 ADC candidates. So what is your interpretation of this Court of Appeal ruling? And is it in alignment with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar as the presidential candidate of ADC, and what Punch published this morning, that they've uploaded the candidates of candidacy of Atiku Abubakar and 470 candidates under David Mark leadership?
Well, let me quickly tell you. You know, I'm a journalist. I left New Telegraph as one of the editors. So sometimes I do not even bother myself about publications on Med. I don't always waste my time. Let me tell you why. Remember that we are not members of the ADC. Let me be honest with you, INEC will always release the code. Like I said on television yesterday, INEC actually released the code to ADC, David Mark. But INEC also said that they will, because INEC, in a meeting with us, INEC said that they will obey the outcome of the judgment. INEC said that. What is code? Code is just a password. You have seen, if once this case is determined, and if we eventually win in this matter at the Supreme Court, INEC will block them and give us code. And those guys in the portal, they will remove them. That is the truth. But let me even shock you now. I have the judgment here. This is what the declaration. Okay, before I even read the judgment now, let me tell you something. Before I told you the declaration, now let me tell you. Section 223 of the Federal Republic of Nigeria Constitution talks about democratic process. Now, for a political party to be seen as a structure, there must be a ward structure. And the only way you can get this ward structure is through Congress. From there, those elected at the ward will also have a delegate who will come and elect those in the local government. And it trickles to the state. Now, without the state structure, how will you conduct a primary election? Even if I expect to do anything, I can tell you something that ADC will not even emerge details at them, because they will go to that place and, like what's happening in Plateau State, they will say that ADC never had a primary election. Let's assume without conceding that, because I watched our national legal advisor say that they did their primaries and they did not tell them to not to do primaries. My brother, now listen to me. How can you do where the people who conducted this primary election in your state? How do you identify ADC member from the ward chairman, local government chairman, and the state that has records? Do they have any record of ADC chairman or what is happening in the world in Abuja? Now look at what the judgment says. A lot of people don't know. I'm going to read from only from 5 of it, because that is what answered our question. Now in that judgment, they said an order nullifying the appointment of the Congress committee member for the first defendant, that is ADC, by the body described as the Caretaker International Committee of the ADC. There was an order nullifying that thing. So in the eyes of the law, Congress never took place, because even the Caretaker Committee who conducted these congresses, who even nullified at all, that they don't have the constitutional powers to do so. Now, the sixth order said an order restraining the sixth defendant, that is INEC, from recognizing or attending the Congress or any event organized by the body described as the Caretaker International Committee of the ADC, purportedly appointed for the first defendant, which is ADC. Now, event, it means both primaries. It means even anything. Now, look at the seventh one, where it is becoming interested. Then an order restraining the sixth defendant, its officers, agents, privies, assigned successors in title, representatives, and all persons claiming through or under it from acknowledging, accepting, recognizing, giving effect to, or in any manner whatsoever validating the ward, local government, and world congresses conducted by the body described as the International Working Committee of ADC. Now, this is then the 78th one, the only one now. It says an order of perpetual injunction. Order of perpetual injunction restraining the defendants, whether by themselves, their agents, privies, or assigned successors in title, representatives, and all persons claiming through or under them from interfering with the functions, duties, and tenure of the first to seventh defendant, that is myself and the remaining chairman I went to court, that's the plaintiff, being State Executive Committee and State Executive Committee of the first defendant. Then finally, an order of perpetual injunction restraining the first to sixth defendant, their agents, privies, or assigned successors in title, representatives, and all persons claiming through or under them from recognizing state congresses or any congress or convocation convention of the first defendant. So there's a perpetual injunction, everlasting injunction, banning INEC from recognizing any activities carried out by this body. Now, how can somebody trivialize this judgment and say it doesn't affect Atiku Abubakar? We have conducted our congresses. Which congress did you conduct? Which primaries? In the eyes of this law, you did not conduct any congress, because you cannot conduct primaries without the congress.
Chairman, sir. Please allow me, if I may, Chairman, sir. Thank you for the robust. We can understand, and I share your sentiments. They can't just remove what you have worked hard for. That I respect. I'd like to know, and of course our listeners, is there? Some of us are slightly confused. You do not recognize Alhaji Atiku Abubakar as your presidential candidate. As at this morning, Punch is saying that INEC has uploaded or has allowed representatives of the ADC to upload him as your presidential candidate. I'd like to know, sir, who is your presidential candidate as we speak this morning?
No, Angela, let me quickly tell you, and I want you to listen to me because it's for the benefit of the listeners. Now, let me tell you. As a journalist, I'm a professional journalist. I had master's degree in commerce communication, University of Lagos. So I worked to the point that from reporter I became an editor. So I know these things. That report was not even complete. When I was the editor of the Telegraph newspaper, nobody can bring this kind of report because, as it stands, it's a one-sided report. Now the question in that report, I read it this morning. You're not telling me about it because I read it this morning. Now the question is this: Did you balance the story? There's something we call sober or judging, fairness, objectivity, balance, and accuracy.
Yeah.
You did not even you didn't even ask for the court judgment. The CTC is not even out, but I have it here. That's what I'm telling you now. You didn't even say, okay, you didn't ask vital questions. You only pick up a story, a one-sided story, and you're wrong with it. Like I told you, when this pin was released, code was released, it was released to David Ma because at that time we are still in court.
Okay.
So that was when we won the lower court judgment. Now you do not expect INEC to activate it because they were going to appeal it, and they sent a notice of appeal to INEC also. But the judge, the court did not grant stay of execution, but they sent a notice of appeal. So it is wise that INEC will hold on to see what the outcome of that thing will be. It does not stop INEC from allowing them to upload this man Alhaji Abubakar as the presidential candidate of the ADC. No, but the outcome of the court will be respected, and there will be a decision. There will be a change of them at the end of the day if we eventually win the case, like I said before. Now, it is not a question of who is an ADC candidate or who is ADC presidential candidate. In the eyes of the law, I think ADC has no presidential candidate. Like I just told you now, they do not have. It doesn't matter what anybody feels. But at the end of the day, somebody's name is there already, and the man's name is still on the portal of the ADC. But in this judgment, it shouldn't be. But I think after the Supreme Court, there will be a radical change. Now, it is not about Atiku Abubakar remains at the portal because his name was uploaded. They were not disputing that. They were saying that from the court judgment, things will change.
Okay.
And when it change, he also reported it as a news. Like that one news story I told you about, I didn't even read more. And this time, that because I'm a professional, they want to open the shop, I know what it's all about.
Okay, well, there is an addition to that question. There is a follow-up to that question.
So please allow me to also add at this point. Is there any possibility there will be an out-of-court settlement?
Reconciliation.
Reconciliation and harmonization, as it were. Is it possible?
Yeah, if you are listening to me yesterday on channel AIT, I said that we hold the S as we speak.
Yes.
They have not called us for a conversation.
Okay.
Even as we speak today, they have not called us for a meeting. I am not psychic to determine what will be an outcome of a meeting that has not been contrived.
Yes.
I also cannot predict anything because in my law it is attitude. What I'm saying is that as we speak now, as I'm on phone right now with you, we are going to court to obtain the CTC of that judgment and forward it to INEC. That we are going with our lawyer. We'll be going there by 10 o'clock. We'll get it and send it to until they call for a truce. Now, once we sit to have this conversation, we will air our grievances. They will also say that, and we'll see how we can arrive at a consensus. But as we speak right now, there is nothing like that ongoing.
Interesting. We will reach out to you as the event unfolds on this issue, and hopefully ADC will have, in your opinion, a presidential candidate at the end of the day. Because as we speak, according to the court ruling, ADC doesn't have a presidential candidate until maybe there is a Supreme Court ruling on that. Anyways, thank you so much, Mr. Obinna Norman, for joining us this morning all the way from Abuja. We will reach out to you as the event unfolds right here on Groove FM. I appreciate you.
Problem, please.